So where do we go from here? That's the question. Last time we covered some things on Nama, and I was on the line trying to figure out who I was going to cover next. It's quite an array of beings out there that you could get quite lost in just reading the mythology alone, let alone working with these forces. So I decided to talk about one that I've worked with for quite some time. Um, he's been fair to me, respectful. I don't want to say kind, because people hear the word kind and they think that certain beings are fluffy bunny unicorns and let's hug and they just need love, and that really is not the case at all. He has been kind to me, there I said it, but normally he's like a businessman. Many people know him as Belial or Belial or Belial. Some know him as a goetic king. It all depends on what mythos you read and what lore you read and who wrote the book about the guy at that specific time. By certain traditions and by many people standing, he is a deity. By many others standing, he is, for lack of a better term, a demon. In fact, I even heard one occultist who I respect very highly mention that he will not work with King Belial because to him Belial is the definition of evil. But then that's a debate for people to get into. If you've worked the ceremonial magic, I would say neighborhood or the avenue where ceremonial magic may, take flight, you're going to have different approaches to it. You're going to have those that approach a more left-hand path, not so much the god names that you will find in the greater key of Solomon, so forth and so on, or the lesser key of Solomon. But you can find quite a bit about Belial in the lesser key of Solomon. But sadly enough, it also talks about how to constrain these forces and compel them using different god names. And I think that's where the evil aspect of him kicks in. That's no disrespect to anyone who has worked more of a holy magic. I say holy magic when I say that I lean more towards the run-of-the-mill classic grimoires that many ceremonial magicians have touched base on. Abramelin the Mage, the Lesser Key of Solomon, the Greater Key of Solomon, the Black Pullet, to name a few. Compared to those who might start with maybe something from Michael W. Ford's area or another occultist that does walk that left-hand path. So how you approach certain forces will kind of be the outcome of, just being honest. Can I see Belial being, for lack of a better term, pure evil? Yeah, I can, but many of us like to look at it as in the aspect of this. If you go to these forces, whether it's King Belial, Lilith, Hecate, Isis, Persephone, Osiris, Paimon, Beleth, Baal, and I know some people say the names differently, so if I was off with my pronunciation, don't butcher me, please. But how you address these forces and how you come forth and communicate with these forces, how you approach these forces in reality will be a big part of how they reply back, if they reply back. I'm saying if because, belief by popular demand, they don't want to work with everybody. Just because you call somebody does not mean they're going to pick up the telephone. Think of the title in front of Belial. Whether you look at him from he's the demon aspect or an ancient god aspect or whatever is irrelevant right now. He has the title of king in front of his name. So he deserves that form of respect. How to work with them is pretty cut and dry. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. He's not the most elusive force in the universe to gain knowledge from or about. You can pretty much find what you need directly on one Google search or one tome, and then you kind of run from that. The thing with Belial is that he's going to push you. If he decides to work with you and you two come towards some form of an agreement, something that will benefit you as well as him, because let's be real here, some forces, they want something out of the deal. Okay, I'm just being real. Nothing is free. I have to say that, and that's not just working with Belial or other goetic forces or klepothic forces or whatever it may be. Nothing in this universe is free. The realms don't operate on free. You know, as we see those who might work with the deity, they give offerings. You know, even if it was just, there is love involved, especially if they have a deep, deep, deep connection with that deity. There is respect, there is a sincerity, and if you forget to replace the water or some flowers on a Monday, 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna pop you across your brain. Or like, yo, you messed up, bro. They might nudge you and say, you know, there's a fly floating in my water, bro. Can you go take care of that for me? Just saying, that job we got, you know. Anyway, the point is, nothing is free. So when you step forward to work with King Belial or any other king within the Goetia or a force of high stature, like, I'm going to keep it 100% truthful with you right now. I will respect what I am trying to contact and reach out to, and I will respect things that float around on the astral. I will respect a spirit that's disembodied. I will respect an angelic one. I will respect an infernal being. I will respect. But if you think that I'm going to dedicate the same amount of money towards offerings to a lower level, this run-of-the-mill rabid demon compared to King Belial, then that's just not going to happen. I will respect that force, but I also take things into account of, this is a king, this spirit is not. So when approaching a goetic king, another king, so forth and so on, you're going to want to approach it as in you're approaching royalty. Because if you just go do a simple, you know, Google search about him, he has quite the amount of minions. There's your homework. So when you work with him, you're just not going to be working with just him. Like, that's what, really? That's what people think, that you're just going to be directly working with him and him alone. That's really not the case always. You know, many times as I have worked with him, it's been kind of like, okay, I got to go off and do this. So your request is accepted. Thanks for the offering. We're good to go. He didn't say it like this, but I'm just kind of giving you the run of the mill. Here's about 4 spirits, you know, that I'm just going to leave here. And they're going to work, you know, it's kind of like that. That's their boss. It's cliche and as corny as it might sound, me saying that, that's what they are. They serve under him. He's their boss. You can even find that in Enochian magic if you want to petition, or I don't like to say the word evoke, but conjure, summon, you say hello, whatever word you like to use out here. I don't like to use the word evocation because it has such bad connotations with it. Let's just keep it real. It does. It just does. You don't gotta evoke, they'll show up. Just, you know, I've personally always been more for leaving invitation out. I've only evoked a couple times and that was not pretty. I pulled it off, but evoking is that has bad connotations to me, you know. Anyway, when you approach him, you know, you got to approach him with that respect and that sincerity. I personally do not suggest approaching him from a Greater Key of Solomon aspect. Nothing against that book whatsoever, because I love that book. Yeah, that was actually one of the first books that I got. The Greater Key of Solomon and the Lesser Key of Solomon, and I read through it and I said, wow, I can't even see myself, for one, creating half of the tools. And here some might call me a whatever. Maybe you're not a traditionalist, maybe you're not a this, oh, you're new age this, you're new. Look, okay, let's be real. If you've read that book, some things, it takes a long time to create 1 or 2 things, okay? It takes a long time, and by the time you've created those 1 or 2 things, you've probably already achieved what it is you're trying to achieve. So though I am for, you know, creating things within the Greater Key of Solomon or the Lesser Key of Solomon, I am also for doing what you have to do to get the magic to work. And as long as the being shows up and accepts it and you two have a relationship that's flourishing, who really cares what anyone else will say or has to say, because it's working for you? So when you do go to him, a few things he does like is rum. I'm gonna be real. Not some small stuff neither. Don't get that man no. I said that man. Don't get him any cheap stuff. But if you can't afford the super expensive stuff, don't let me have you thinking you got to go into your local pub and buy like, select 51 from the 1720s is worth like 3 houses. We ain't talking that. Nah, we're not. But be generous. If you had like $30 or $40, I know that's not the most, but if you had like only $30 to your name and you went in there and you saw a nice rum for $25, go ahead and get that for him. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be his offering. Interestingly enough, raw meat also works very well. I would say certain things that, depending on how you're going to work with him, depends on if you want to do workings on the inside or the outside. Many people say don't ever do darker workings inside your house because it can lead to bad things. I don't personally ascribe to that. I think that's a load of hogwash, to be honest with you. Because you have people that work in cemeteries all the time, people who work at crossroads all the time, people who work in the depths of the wood all the time with the bog water, people who work with plant spirits. And these plant spirits, let's be real here, there's a couple plant spirits out there that freak me out more than a goetic king. There's some elementals out there that freak me out more than an angelic. Just being real. There's deities connected to certain plants that don't really get much shine out there because they don't, I guess, fit the run-of-the-mill super popular, but they what they know, they'll light you up. So I don't ascribe to that. I think it all depends on what it is you're trying to do. And as long as you have your sacred space set up the way you need it to be set up, if that means calling in protection from a deity or asking the force that you're working with, Belial in this case, to make sure that the temple is working, then by all means go for it. But if you're going to work with him or a force in general, you're going to want to make sure that you're as inviting as you can be, which means when you invite them in, you ain't gonna want to stand inside the circle and they just outside the circle. Think about that. You invite someone over, but you don't let them come in your room to play your PlayStation 5 or anything like that. You don't even give no pizza. You just let them stand at the door. And I know a lot of people are probably hissing and screaming, don't do that, don't listen to him, that's Belial. Because Belial, names like Belial, Asmodeus, pretty much those two, good old Lucifer. But we ain't gonna use him for a change. He gets enough bad flack for some reason. Yeah. But so the basics like Belial or Lilith or Asmodeus or Asmodeus, however y'all pronounce the man's name. I'm saying the man, yeah, I know, but it's not all, because I'm trying to think of my train of thought, how I can word this next part. It's not all cut and dry. So when you go to these forces, you got to make sure you go to them with your best. If you don't have a lot to give, trust me, they understand this. They do. They understand this fully. And I'm going to be honest, some forces, even in the Goetia, they will not get their full payment until the work is done. I'm going to keep it honest. I worked with one force one time. It didn't end bad. I got what I needed done at the end, but I had to go pretty much petition that the force that was above that being. And then I got the manifestation. But some of the forces will take your stuff and run with it. They will. They'll straight run with it. They won't answer you no more. They be petty. Like anyone who's done workings and things like that will know that stuff does happen. So yeah, for workings that involve more rum based, more rum, raw meat, very, very, very darker incenses, I would say darker is a bad word to use. The thicker incenses, not so much the frankincense or the sage. Working with tobacco and the castor oil on the candles and things like that. That would be more of an outside working. Now, a good way to contact him, in reality, I'm always saying, all you really need is a name. Like, let's be real here. All you really need is a name, and you can go from there because, these things were passed down to us. Whether it was names, grimoires that were created directly around a specific force or specific forces in its legion. Whether it was a list of correspondences that had to do with precious metals, gems, and incenses and herbs, it was passed down for people to use. So if you really don't have access to any of this stuff, because that does happen, that does happen, that does happen. Understand that you can rock with just a regular white candle, and if you can't get a white candle, I'm just saying, struggle's real. It be like that sometimes. You can work without a candle, but I will suggest that you have the name, a sigil, a seal. You can, in reality, start to write. You can start to read about the mythos and create the invocations through the mythos, or you can go with some of the tried and proven invocations that come from certain organizations and or covens, lodges, etc., that have to do more with Belial or those type of forces specifically, and less with more of the greater key of Solomon. I know Solomonic magicians are probably sitting back right now looking at my journal like, bro, what did we do to you? Every time you want to talk about the bad people, you want to mention us. I don't mean no disrespect, but let's be real here. If you work Solomonic magic, you know how it is. You know about compelling the spirit into the daggone magic. And then some of them spirits don't like that. They get heated. They do. That's why I be kind of like, yo, what's going to happen to all those magicians when all the protection's gone? Because some of them forces in the Goetia ain't nice. I'm just going to be honest with you. They ain't. I'm going to keep it a bucko with you. Some of them will eat you alive and spit you out. But the majority won't. And also it depends on how you approach them. Sincerity and respect goes a long way. I would always say keep some water on the altar that you have set up for him, because water is good. It's a good lubrication with the physical and the non-physical. Both can benefit from it. You can also empower that water, and then when that water has been empowered from the ritual, you can then drink the water and you will take in many of his attributes. Yes, it's a lot of ways, but I would suggest to really just read about the mythos, understand that being as a whole, see what that being is capable of helping you with, which is quite a bit. If you want to start a new business, he's the one to go to. He's the one. Look, I'm not going to lie. You're not going to blow up to 2 billion overnight. If you do, that's what's good. Congratulations. But it's more on the lines of him guiding you and teaching you how to stick it out for the long run. How to say, okay, this is something that's going to take time to build. He's also good bestowing senatorships and things of that nature. So he's good with rising to power. Rising to power and rising through the chains, so forth and so on. I find his energy to be very, very, very cunning, very, very, very straightforward. He does have a nature where he can be, he'll test you, and I don't want to use the word playfully, but he'll see if you're just staying on point to where it is that you're staying on point. He'll see if you really are about what it is that you said you were about within that pact or that relationship that you're building with him. But if you are looking to grow spiritually, financially, mentally, so forth and so on, he is a spirit that I think would be quite beneficial for quite a few. Is he what everyone says, a fluffy bunny, love, kindness, and rainbows? No, he's not. In fact, they call him the lawless one for a reason. You know what I'm saying? The worthless one. It doesn't so much mean that he's worthless. And if you really think about what the lawless one means, he make up his own rules. He don't care. And if you have some court situations, we ain't gonna go too deep into that, but if you have court situations, he's a spirit that you can definitely petition. In my opinion, from my many years of working with him, has he ever two-timed me? Heck no. Never. Not once. I can officially say he has never in his entire existence around me two-timed me. He did, on the other hand, teach me the methods so I could see a two-timer when it's coming my way. Has he put me through the ringer and taught me lessons? Oh, yeah. Oh, he has. And some of those lessons really freaking hurt. They really hurt big time. They really did. And he's still teaching me. You work with him, his lessons can take years to fully just get the aha moment. But if you gain his respect, Is he a force that I think you should have in your corner? Yeah. Because I say this, he does defend and look out for those that really stay the course. And I've noticed personally, he really respects dedication, hard work. He's not a hard spirit to really work with. His demands aren't stupid. Like they aren't some dumbfounded, stupid, scripted, crazy thing like bring me 37 thises and 87 thises and I want that person over there and no. That's Hollywood. That's Hollyweird. That's all Hollyweird right there. But will he expect you to dedicate to the path? Especially if you represent his name, will he expect you to be the best you can be so you can become the best that you meant to be? Yeah, because his name's involved in this. So that's his right. He's not going to operate exactly how you want to operate. He's going to work with you, but he's going to, if he sees a better way, he's going to take it. Yeah, it might be a bumpy ride for you, but but it's going to work out. So yeah, this wasn't so much in how to connect with him, but if you really want to, you can just look up a sigil about him real quick. If you do have a couple bucks to spend, a black candle, write his name on the candle, some incense, get some incense that will benefit him. I mean, that doesn't benefit him, but that will benefit you, that will help build that connection. And just really just flow with it. Gaze at the sigil during the time you're looking up things about his mythology, about his lore. Find out the offerings. Read deeper than just one avenue of a breakdown about this specific force. Interestingly enough, and I'm not bashing any traditions, do y'all thing at the end of the day, because I practice quite a few in my days, and I have a lot of genuine love for quite a few of them. I don't agree with everything within all of the traditions. Who should? That's the foolish move right there. If you believe everything and just fully 100% roll with everything, you have to disagree to form your own understanding to set the foundation for your gnosis. But try looking at it from a different point of view. Read into the cultures that he governed or others have governed or have written about him. Look at it from the occult point of view. Turn it on its head. Don't view it, look down instead of up, look right instead of left. Read between the lines, and you're actually going to see over time that he predates that basic lore about him, and he goes quite deep. So hopefully this has been beneficial to someone. He's a good force to work with. I would suggest it for anyone that wants to delve deeper. I'm going to be honest, he's not a bag of cushiony love. He's not. So if you don't want to be butthurt, I don't suggest that, okay? But I mean, everybody needs to be butthurt every now and then to go ahead and grow and to evolve into what it is that we're meant to do, what it is that we're meant to, and what we want to evolve into. And people like him, beings like him, demons like him, gods like him, and the other ones can benefit you in so many ways. But remember, it's a team effort. It's not just about getting to where you need to be. It's about building these relationships and really, really, really standing firm in your truth and saying, this who I roll with, when everyone else says you're wrong, and then letting your truth change the lives around you. Because that's what it's about, right? Changing lives and everything at the end of the day. I swear, I know some of the kindest left-hand path magicians that have worked with every single baneful entity under the freaking sun, and they pet kittens and freaking pet puppies. And then I've seen people who work just with just peace, love, and light, and they are some of the most narcissistic, arrogant people on the face of the planet, and swear to God they're better than everybody with their 5-dimensional frequencies. No shots fired. I'm not talking about, because 5D, all that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I got the Cosmic Star Sage I'm about to drop some stuff on too that's really going to talk a lot about frequencies. But I'm pretty sure y'all all know what I'm talking about. We all got them arrogant people that make the paths look bad. No matter if you are a Luciferian, a Christian, a Baptist, a pagan, a Wiccan, a ceremonial magician, a Klepothic sorcerer, on and on and on and on and on. But yeah, I'm going to do some follow-up on this one soon. Hopefully this does benefit some people in some way, shape, manner, or form. Make sure you check out my TikTok, The Nurse's Corner. We got some good stuff over there. Check out Aquarius Moon Tarot. And I got some stuff coming to Cosmic Star Sage very soon. I'm probably going to have a reading over the Aquarius Moon Tarot tomorrow. So make sure you go check that out. And until then, peace, y'all.